Hi everyone, today we are going to be looking at a sample synthesis paper, and I'm going to read through it and I'm going to score it for you and explain why it gets that particular score. So, we'll be using the synthesis rubric that we already explained in a previous video, looking for evidence and commentary, which is actually the second row, went out of order there. Looking for thesis, evidence, and commentary, and then sophistication. So, here we go. I'm going to annotate as I go to talk about what I noticed there. Okay, so the increasing demand for energy is leading consumers to explore new energy options. Among these options are the controversial large-scale commercial-grade wind farms. The most important factors that an individual or agency should consider when deciding whether to establish a wind farm are the noise impacts, the alteration of landscapes, and the cost of wind farms. Okay. I'm going to go with, this is my thesis statement. It seems like the thing that is most connected to the prompt, which, if we remember, we are looking at writing a well-written essay in which you develop your position on the most important factors that an individual or agency should consider when deciding whether to establish a wind farm. But again, I'm going to go through the whole essay just in case there might be a different thesis somewhere else, because the thesis doesn't have to be at the beginning of the essay. So, noise impacts of large wind farms are a concern for communities near these farms. Anecdotal evidence strongly suggests a connection between turbines and symptoms including nausea, vertigo, blurred vision, unsteady movement, difficulty reading, remembering, and thinking. Source C. Evidence also suggests that turbines have sleep interference and that turbines can sound louder at night, from source C. These concerns that affect the health of members of communities should be taken into account. The counter-argument, however, is that wind turbines are harmless, source C. Before a company decides to build a wind farm, they should do research into studies that prove both points of view, consider conducting research themselves. So, we'll just keep on reading. Sorry. It's been a while since I've been a talk aloud for scoring. Another impact that should be considered before creating a wind farm is that turbines can alter the landscape. I'm going to go back real quick and circle my sources. Count my sources. Turbines cannot be camouflaged or made smaller because this would affect the efficiency of the turbines. Source E. It would also be very difficult to paint them colors that match the surroundings due to changes in seasons and colors. So I'm just going to circle every source. Okay, we're up to 2 sources. Turbines can impose significant costs by disrupting territorial views for local residents. The counter-argument to this is that wind turbines can be depicted as a work of art. Windmills play a role in art and literature, such as in 17th century Dutch paintings and Spanish literature, such as Don Quixote. Before installing a wind farm, agencies should look into the views of the communities that they are looking at and make decisions based on the opinions of the community. The last factor that an individual or agency should consider when deciding whether to establish a wind farm is cost and efficiency. Wind power is more costly than coal or natural gas. It is important for an agency or individual to understand the investment that they are making. Although it costs more, wind is one of the most efficient forms of energy. If an individual or agency is willing to invest upfront to accomplish a long-term gain, then wind power is an option to consider. When deciding whether to establish a wind farm, agencies or individuals should consider the health impacts from the noise, the impact the turbines will have on the landscape's appearance, and the cost and efficiency of wind turbines. Okay. So, we also had source F. So we had the 3 sources that we needed. Going through for synthesis, remember, you need to include at least 3 sources. That's part of the prompt. So going back through, I think that what I thought was the thesis really is the thesis. So overall, I would give this a 1 for thesis statement because it's defensible. These are stating that these are factors that should be considered. They're debatable, and they are also happen to be outlining a potential line of reasoning with the noise impacts, the alteration of landscapes, and the cost of wind farms. So, it is a defensible thesis. I would give it the point. For evidence and commentary, I would give this a 3 for evidence and commentary. I'd give it a low 3 for evidence and commentary if I was going to go differentiate, kind of. But a 3 is a 3. I'm going to keep the same colors here. Each paragraph, it identifies a supporting claim. Okay, it lays out a line of reasoning. Noise impacts are a concern. Another impact is altering the landscape. The last factor is to consider is cost and efficiency. They each have a clear supporting claim, a clear assertion, establishing that line of reasoning with those main points of noise, the landscape, and the cost efficiency. It has the 3 sources, with source C in the first paragraph, source E, and source F. However, it really only partially develops these citations. It lists a lot of facts from each of these pieces, from each of these sources, but if I highlight my commentary, okay, that's a really big highlighter. There's only, actually that first one that I heard in the second paragraph isn't even, commentary there. There's very little commentary for each of these citations. It provides some analysis, like when it says that the company might need to do more research with studies that prove the points of view for the health impacts. But the commentary is really only at the end of the paragraph. It's not working in between the sources, connecting all of the evidence to the assertion or to the thesis statement. And another side note that I would have for you here is that it's really only one piece of evidence per paragraph, which is going to lead into the sophistication point here coming up. So again, just wrapping up organized-wise, evidence and commentary, it gets a 3. It has specific evidence, but it's only partially developing that evidence. Commentary, it's at the end of the body paragraphs rather than cohesively throughout. And it's, again, the depth of analysis. It's not, it wouldn't be earning a 4. The last one is the sophistication, and I would not give this the sophistication point. It's organized, it's straightforward, but it really relies on the source material. There's not a lot of an original argument or commentary to develop it. Each of the paragraphs, the first 2 paragraphs in particular, present possible counter-arguments, but they really only comment on it. They don't develop that counter-argument and then actually respond to that counter-argument. So while a well-done counter-argument can help develop the sophistication, in this case, it's not fully developed. Okay, so real quick, thesis point, stop, talk. Why does this essay earn a thesis point? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, evidence in common and earned the thesis point. Then stop and talk out loud, even if it sounds silly. This essay would earn a 3 out of 4 on the evidence. Why? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it does not earn the sophistication for consistency of sophistication throughout. So, summarize, why does it not earn the point for row C? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, again, this essay overall has some good things going for it. It would only get a combined score of 4 out of 6 on the rubric. Has clear thesis, has specific evidence, but for evidence and commentary and the sophistication, it just doesn't develop it as much as it could. And there we go. Thanks, everyone.